In this video, we will demonstrate how to input questions in Remindo. First, sign into Remindo by going to hhs.remindotootsmanager.nl. You may have to sign in using the 2 authentication if you have not already been signed in. Here we're already at the place we need to be. We're going to go into the question bank by clicking on questions. Choose the HHS question bank, which is the second choice, and then look for the Faculty and International and European Law program. Use the triangles to twirl down and find your course here. I'm going to show you from a course that's set up for training. Your course will have its name here, and if there are any questions, it will tell how many questions are inside of the question bank. If this is the first time your course has run, you will not see any questions in your question bank. Twirl the triangle to get the additional learning outcomes. These are the learning outcomes on your course. These have been put in by the key users in advance. If you have not identified the learning outcomes for the key users, then do so in advance so that we can put this into Remindo and set up your environment. It is not possible to enter questions without first having this with the learning outcomes. To enter a question, you first have to choose the add question possibility, but you do that after you've chosen which of the learning outcomes the question pertains to. So you first choose on the left side the learning outcome, you click there, and then you can add a question by going to the upper right hand side and saying add new question. It is very important for you to make sure that your question is being added to the correct learning outcome. If you forget this step, then later on when the question is in the question bank, it's not linked to any of the learning outcomes, and it will not show down here. It will only show up here in the total amount of questions. So please do not forget this step. When you add the new question, you're going to have a choice of a multiple choice question or other types of questions. For now, we will choose multiple choice. You can put in the code. This has been designated by the key users or by instructions that you receive. Generally, it's something descriptive so that people can recognize when the question was first entered in the bank. And make it available for paper exams, so this should be yes. If this is a test that is being used to give the overall cumulative exams, then here you say no. And if it's for your exam that is part of the grading process, you also say yes here. And you leave the language at English and the calculator available at no. Press add, the green button on the bottom right. And now you're in the edit question menu. This is the menu where you add the question details. There are a few things that you should know about this menu. Firstly, there is the text block at the top. Not every multiple choice question needs a text block, but you can use this text block if you have a case that you're using for several questions. If, however, you only have one question, then put the stem of your question here in the part below and leave this blank. For now, we'll just have a stem for our question. We add our question on the right, and then we add our answer choices. The same process. Choose A first, then go to the right, click in this area and type in your answer choice. and keep adding answer choices until all 4 choices are populated. When that's finished, you have to choose this gear on the left side to further develop your questions. This menu allows you to tell how many points each of the questions are worth. So, for example, here you can put 2.5 if you have a test of 40 questions, because each question is worth 2.5 points. The shuffle feature allows you to ensure that students don't see the same exact answer choices in the same order. And we usually leave the drop-down list at no and the display at vertical. Then you have to indicate the correct answer, and you do that by clicking inside of the circle under correct with the answer choice that's correct. So for example, I'm going to pretend that answer C is correct, and I'm going to click here. You will see that on the right side it now shows C with a green check mark. We have also determined that we should give feedback about our questions. The feedback can be done below in this area. So the feedback inside of these individual questions is optional right now, according to the policy from the assessment committee. So you can give your feedback here, and then you can also display a certain type of feedback if an answer is partly incorrect. So here you can say this is correct because the last census showed 400,000 people in The Hague. So now you've told why it's correct. And then here you would have to explain why all the other choices are incorrect. You cannot say the letter of the choice because the letter changes with every test. So instead you have to refer to something inside of the answer choice that lets the reader understand why their answer was wrong. So you could say 200,000 and 300,000 and 100,000 are not the total amount of inhabitants according to the most recent census. What this will do is allow every student to know why their particular answer choice was incorrect. And that's very important because, again, referring to exactly what the answer choice says and then telling why it's incorrect will help them be able to understand the reasons that they have not received this, gotten this correct. And also, it will allow you to have one place where you indicate all of the wrong answer choices and their reasons instead of individually giving feedback on everything. Press save. Double check to make sure everything looks good. So you have a correct answer indicated. You've told what the point allocation is up here, and you have feedback down here. And when you're satisfied that it's correct, then you can press Save Question, which is down on the right side. There's also the possibility to preview if you want to on this side. Here we will save it. If you want to give some comments, you have that option, and then confirm it. Now you have a new question. You can see it here, and you can also view it down here. That is not enough, however, because your question has been connected to a learning outcome, but it has not been connected to a Bloom's level. So it's important to connect it to the Bloom's level. You do that by finding out the property of the question and adding property. So you go to the property tab, then you add the property here, and you choose Bloom's taxonomy, and you choose the correct Bloom level for the question. For this one, it's simply remembering. I'm going to choose that. I'm going to save. And now I can see that remembering has appeared here. And that lets me know that I have a question that is also connected to a Bloom's taxonomy. Once I finish that, I have now completed the input of my question. Thank you for watching this video. We just went over the input of questions in Remindo. What we saw is that first we choose an area, the learning outcome on the left side, then we add a new question up on the right side, then we choose the type of question and make sure that all of these are filled in, and we press add. After that, we populate everything inside of these boxes. We press our gear here on the left, and we make sure that the correct answer is indicated. We also go below and we add feedback for the correct answer as well as the incorrect choices. We make sure that our incorrect choices do not refer to a particular letter like A, B, C, or D, but instead describes the choice that was given and why it's wrong. And then we say save question. And when we save the question, we can confirm it and it appears in the question bank.